Hi guys, this is Tino Talks. So I hope you guys enjoy my next incoming video, guys. So guys, please like, subscribe, and share my video, guys. And I made it easy to you guys to also to subscribe right there in the right hand corner, right there where it says Tino. So I hope you guys like. If you like it, please comment. If you don't like it, also comment, guys. Tell me what's wrong with the video. See you in the video, guys. Hi. Sorry, it's a little dark. I'm trying to get the right lighting for y'all. It is getting dark today. Today I'm going to be talking about Black history. So, in school we be taught about Black history. You know how we were taught all kinds of history, right? So the biggest thing is with history, it's just they tell us, we learn about slavery, right? That black people come from Africa. We can't, the North America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. We learn all that, right? So let's get to it. So the number one thing I want to talk about, North America was discovered by Christopher Columbus. That's what they told us, right? And black people were shipped, in boats, right, by sailors, right, coming from different countries, France, England, all that stuff, right? Because they went to Africa and they captured all these black people, right? So let's get to this. Is gonna be really, really cool, actually, guys, because in history we be taught different things, right? We be taught like the backgrounds, but they did make us believe they came from Africa, black people. But here's the number one question. So was the people that Christopher Columbus supposedly, or aka pilgrims, were talking to? Who was those people? Who was the people that England was talking about, or France was talking about? Because here's the thing. The word Indian. First of all, let me backtrack a little bit. The word Indian, they came from, because they were calling the people in North America Indians. Because the whole controversy, it was because the king, the king and queen from France, not France, actually Spain, were believing the earth was flat, not round. So Christopher Columbus, supposedly, aka Christopher Columbus, they said that he would go on a whole circle and land in England and freaking India, but he didn't. Accidentally, he landed in North America. So that's the whole thing about history, right? So let's fast forward now a little bit more. So who was those people they were he was talking to? He wasn't talking to Indians. He was talking to people here in North America. Those people were actually Native Americans. So Native Americans are not brown skin colored people. So if we recap, in Egypt, that's Africa. That's the continent of Africa. In Egypt, when we look into the Egyptians, they make us believe as well that those people are brown skin in color as well, which is the connection which Native Americans is in a brown skin in color, right? So let's I'm just gonna be strictly wrong. In Africa, they were all black people. even in Egypt, because that's the continent. That's the that's one of the seven continents. So when we go to North America, North America was the same way. They were now brown or white people. So the people they supposedly Christopher Columbus was talking to was black people, the Native Americans y'all see today. Some of them are mixed now because the whole conspiracy. So when this is another thing too, the French people are also dark skin in color. Let's make that clear. So here's the history of black people. Now we're gonna really jump into the history of black people, right? So there's no way, I'm just gonna tell you right now, there's just logically, there's no way they could have populated the whole continent of North America, because North America is all the way from Canada all the way down to Mexico. That's whole freaking North America. So that's a big piece of land, right? So when they came, they were all black people here. They were dark skinned people. Let's make that clear. So there's no way they ship all those people. I'm not gonna tell you why. Because during that time there was no motor boats. It would have all those people would have died if they would have actually brought all those people. Because those boats would have been filled. And also those boats were not heavy, a lot of weight resistance. It would have to be a small crew, small amount of people. So when they're talking about black people, they're like, okay, they're talking about dark skinned people, right? There's a dog barking, that's my neighbors. So when they were like, yeah, they were not brown people. So when they were supposedly bring those people here, then people were here, and that's the Native Americans, which we see today. Actually, that's not foreign people. That's actually Native people. They actually are already here. So in the Black history, in history they made us believe black people came from Africa. No, they did. So I'm gonna make it clear. There's people that do are come from Africa. These things it is here in North America, which it is true. But the inconsistency in the whole, how they look and how a Native American actually look, they're actually a whole different race, a whole different color. They're the whole different instances, and I'm gonna tell you why. African people got it's like they got excuse me, they got a certain it's like a skin, the tin stone is more different. Native Americans tin stone is different too. The tin stone you can actually see the warm blooded people. So when we're talking about these people, in now we're gonna go back to one of my videos, that actually several of my videos which I have told y'all, these videos are actually connected, which goes back to slavery and back to the third eye. So they make us believe the Native Americans, the Indians are the Native Americans, which they're not. They're really not. And the reason for that, because when they have learned, Native Americans were actually really nice people. They're always been really nice people. And when they have teach them, they say the pilgrims, they told the pilgrims how the instincts work and learn all the ways. They started capturing them, making them their slaves to keep them hush. This is also there's also connected to the third eye, because these people and the Native Americans also connect to the third eye, which is very important, guys. It's very important, which we have been learning through all this time, right? So when we talk about black people actually are those Native Americans. Native Americans, they come from a straight, they're actually homeland. Oops, it just got dark. There you go. So this is are the same people they've been in this land for many years, generation over generation. So they start capturing him, they start seeing power, they start seeing connection, they start learning how to connect to the high supreme, connect to the higher instances, right? To the ancestry, all that, right? So the reason they become hush, because they see they got the power. They were more powerful than they thought. Because during that time, the technology was poor, but the entities were more higher. Which a lot of the things we're gonna be talking about is gonna be just mentioned in a whole different video, what I mean. So what happened was during that time was they would start making them their slaves and making them work for them. The reason for that is because they start seeing power, which they start seeing power. They are more powerful than they think. They were communicating telepathically. They were communicating to the ancestry, and they were knowing things and knowing to the how the weather even works. So once they start learning that, these people, which I call them the pilgrims, they start making the whole theory about the Bible. And this is how Black history starts. Their gods and stuff like that. They start making the Bible in order to keep everything hush and make lies about it. They put some truth in there and also lies about it, but they're not going to put the whole instances in how they learn the things. So now they start creating a personalities and characters in there to keep everything hidden. You all follow me? So going back to the Black history, now they captured them and make them their slaves. Now they made them work for free labor in farms and stuff like that, so they can start forgetting where they came from, what was their existence, how they work things, and make them believe there was a whole different thing, a whole in other instances. So they start making them believe in losing their own mind frame when they know their whole culture and how these things work. This is how the pilgrims start hitting the power in the Black history start becoming less. Black and the Native Americans start dying out. So when the supposedly Christopher Columbus came, they knew there was something more special here. They started seeing the whole background, the whole how things work. So they start creating words like God, praise like Jesus, things like that, instances in creating different characters. So in order to make the Native Americans disbelieve and make them forget where they came from after they learn the whole rhythm and how their powers work. They use their own power against them for things. So now let's get even more deeper. So as we know, and we were talking through the whole video now, Black people did not come from Africa. They were already living here in North America. Now, all that said, let's get a little more into the almost to this time frame. So now they start whooping them, and they start doing other things. So Black history started creating. They started creating other things in order to implement them. Even to the point, even to the history when during the battle of France during the Native Americans. France were a part of this because Native Americans had more stronger weapons because they had more instances. They knew what the other movements, how telepathically, and how they communicated. Now, for the England, Great Britain, what's it called? Promised them their freedom, which England and United States are the same country, different name. One more time. England, United States are the same country, just different name. This is how you have power. This is how you have entities. This is how you have rulership over the world. The reason for that was because when they captured black people, the Native Americans, they made them believe it was a whole different country. That's what the manipulation started in the downgrade of the black history. So African Americans and North Americans are not the same people. Because you think about it, where the fuck you gonna carry all those things? How you gonna feed them? How you gonna keep them survive? There's no way, because it's during that time you had to rely on water and air to travel. So all those people would have died in the middle of the ocean way before. So the Native Americans are actually the people that we have learned from history. These were actually the slaves, not the Africans. Africans were never the slaves, guys. They were never being slaves. That's when they have a whole different instances and different understanding when they come here. So when they start capturing and they start teaching and make them false things in order to keep the secrets safe about the sentence, how to use the third eye, intuition, telepathically, out of body experiences. They start learning all that from the Native Americans, guys. Some of this stuff also be known in Africa by the Egyptians, but it's too far a land to even Egyptian be like, this is my people, to be known they were the same people. It's because the problem was Native Americans used the same theoretically shit that the Egyptians used. So this is where a lot of the things that started, because that's how slavery started too. So when they were asking for freedom, they say, yeah, we're gonna keep your freedom, but they lie, you're still under the control, because now they have too much instancy and know how to work all that shit, like telepathically, out of body experiences, shit like that. So they start how to create Bible and make shit like out and make religions and shit like that in order to keep their secrets safe. So guys, one of the biggest things I want to tell you is just a matter of fact, when it comes to black history, we've been taught different lies, different things to manipulate. Because when it comes to slavery, that's what the Native Americans were. They were slaves. It was never Africans. Africans were never slaves until this day. So when it comes to instances like black people, they put them in the lowest, but they made a category saying they were the Indians. They start using the word Indian because actually the Native Americans hated the word, and they still hate the word, because this is not Indian. This is not Indian. They were natives. They considered their natives. Whole lands they used to use different names for their tribes in their villages. They learn how to construct. They learn how to create, hunt, everything. See now they make us believe. They make us believe that we have. This is where all the fear should. That's the pilgrims were the first ones to teach and give like smackers of meat to the Native Americans. Native Americans hated that shit because it was during slavery. During slavery, they didn't even got even fat. They made them work and work for hours and hours during the time in order to create and make them forget. This is why slavery happened. This is why holidays happened. This is where the word God happened. I'm not trying to go anyone's religion, guys. I'm just giving you all the knowledge. You can, like I said, through my other videos, y'all can actually look it up yourselves. Because this is the history of black people. They used to call them the N-word to offend them, to implement. They used to even change their name, give them names like, you know, my name is Martin, your name is Toby, your name is Ashley, like stuff like that. In order, this is where that all came from. This became names like that, in order to make them forget where they came from. Make them forget, because they used to call themselves, like, if you go back to the Egyptian times, even African times, Native Americans used to have long ass names. They believe they meant something. They actually meant something. It was either by nature, by animal, by spirit, something. Because when they used to name them, that person, they will leave that name. It was power. They used to give power during that name. Like, let's say, my morning shine. That was one, that's an example. Morning shine, or beautiful, shiny, something like that. Just names over stuff like instances. They will give them power. That it meant something with power. That's how the Native Americans were able to do that shit. But during the slavery time, the Pilgrims changed their names, like to Ashley, to Toby, Alex, Xavier, shit like that, because they make them forget who they are, so we can bow down. Just like they give us a social security now, they used to mark their slaves. They used to mark the slave and the Native Americans in order to mark who they were, who they belong to. Just when you do an animal, you put the, you know, the thing called the hot thing in their body to know who they were. That's they used to know. And they used to whoop them because they used to sell these people. So they start cutting down the trees. They start cutting down all things and make the Native Americans forget all the things about the plants, the instances, intuitions, out of experiences. Because Native Americans were nice people. They taught all this to the Pilgrims, and now they're like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. These motherfuckers actually changed the whole culture in the whole world to make them believe differently. They took the land and now they want to charge it. They took the land for themselves and they say, this is mine. And then you all the cures and actually cure you, make them live longer. They took all that from the Native Americans. Because the Native Americans knew all kinds of cures during the time. Medical plants, what plants to eat, fruits, and how to survive. They never ate the meat. But when they became slaves, all that shit changed now. That's why in these days, in modern days, all that happened. So if you notice, a black person is always lowest in the rank to everything, even from the jobs to everything. They make sure they're the lowest and the lowest because they don't want to make them remember where they actually came from, and they're actually the owners of the land that we live in. The owners of North America, was their land, but they want to make it seem that was not the. That's why in history class they teach us about 5 cents, but actually we have more 5 cents because all this came from the Native Americans. Because Native Americans also use the third eye and to implement in new work, things will happen. To be able to look up on the sky and knew when it was gonna rain and stuff like that. Time was also another factor. Native Americans used the sunlight to tell what was the time during that time. During just looking at down in the ground, when the climate was going to change, just looking up at the sky. Because that's what I'm talking about when I say we have the connection with Earth. Because we learned this shit from the Native Americans. So when we celebrate Thanksgiving is just a bunch of bullshit, and this is all related to Black history. We're celebrating that we took their land. A lot of y'all gonna be like, what the fuck you just said? It's true. Thanksgiving was created in order to say we took the Native Americans' land. That we took over their land, their hard-working land, and we took everything they own and make it to our property and make them forget where they fucking came from and say, hey, this is the shit. So when you actually look into history, you say, oh, I'm thankful for this, things like that. That's a bunch of bull crap. That's a bunch of fucking bull crap, because when you look into Black history, the N-word, a lot of y'all motherfuckers will be like to use the N-word with the A and with the E and the N. You're actually disrespecting, because this is the shit they used to, during the Black people used to go through that shit. A lot of y'all didn't went through that shit, but the ancestors did, of the Black people, of the Native Americans went through. This is what we got our names from, because all happened during that time. So now y'all see, this is what we people are wrong when we say this is mine, we're not, it's not ours. We're actually immigrants to this land. Native Americans never approved it. We took it by force, guys. This was a video about Black history, guys. Like I said, I always mention I'm not affiliated with no one. I'm not working with no one. This is just for your knowledge. You can always do your research and all that, guys. So guys, I do appreciate everybody who watched this video, made it farthest this point to the end. Thank you so much. Everything this was only happening because of you guys. Like I said, and always remember, I'm only making videos just for your acknowledgement to help you all, guys. And also, please guys, comment and share my videos. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. That was Tino Talks. See you in the next video.